It's been a little while since I last produced one of these videos where I show you guys what I consider to be the best new watch releases on AliExpress. I've got roughly 10 to 15 watches to show you in today's video. I check out roughly 50 stores, 50 official stores I look at, and yeah, look at all the new releases and compile this list. It takes me 3 or 4 hours. I do it so you guys don't have to. I'll put links to all these watches in my video description. And yeah, I'm going to start today's video by showing you a watch I'm definitely not going to be reviewing. Sadly, it's because the dial I think is a little bit too close to home. It looks incredible. This Chronos looks fantastic, but of course it does just look like a Christopher Ward, doesn't it? And the dial, it doesn't say Christopher Ward on it, but it's got this pattern on it which looks a lot like the Christopher Ward logo. I've already reached out to them and said, sorry, I don't think I should review this because, well, I like to avoid watches that could be interpreted as counterfeit or fakes. And yeah, having the Christopher Ward logo all over the dial on this watch just means I'm not interested in producing a dedicated video, but yeah, I think it's still worth showing you the listing in this video. It does look incredible. It's available in 3 colors, but yeah, sorry guys, I'm not going to be getting this one into review, sadly. Next up, we've got a Cadison, and again, a very strong homage watch. Looks a lot like a helm, doesn't it? Thankfully it doesn't have the helm logo anywhere on it, so yeah, safe to get this one into review. And I actually might get this one into review very, very soon. I like the look of this. I like helm watches, although they've been around for a little while and they haven't really sort of updated their designs over the last 5 years, but they're still iconic dive watches, aren't they? And yeah, Cadison are offering a very, very affordable alternative, $99 for this watch. NH35, 100 meters of water resistance, actually looks pretty good. Next up, we've got a very interesting Libini, a sort of dive style GMT, only 100 meters of water resistance, NH34 inside of this watch. I like Libini watches, they are beautifully made, and on the whole, they're very, very affordable. And this one looks quite nice, doesn't it? You've got a sort of transparent dial. You can see some of the movement, and you can also see the rest of the date wheel look through that dial. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? $168, sapphire crystal. Yeah, I like the look of this one. Tandorio! Wow, this is expensive for a Tandorio. $129 for this. PT 5000 or NH35, CUSN8 bronze, 200 meters of water resistance. Caveat, some of their watches have failed water resistance tests inside of Herman. 120 click unidirectional bezel. Yeah, I like it. It's a pretty faithful homage, and well, I think they've done a pretty good job actually. Tandorio watches are loved by many, many people because they just offer incredible value. This one perhaps doesn't quite offer the same sort of value that we have come to expect, but actually looks pretty good. Grand Chin! It's been a while since I've featured a Grand Chin on the channel, and I actually quite like the look of this one. $112, not the most affordable Grand Chin I have ever seen, but I like the look of this one. I really, really do. I'm not convinced by that sort of small diamond applied index thing at the 12 o'clock, but the case shape is good. I like the colour combinations or the colour options that they're offering. Sapphire crystal, 41mm in diameter. I suspect it's going to wear quite big given the case shape. The movement is a Miyota 8000 series movement, so that's going to put a few people off, but at least I guess it's not a Chinese automatic movement, isn't it? So yeah, another decent option, I think. I've been offered this watch, and actually I've already declined the opportunity to review this one. I just think it's too similar to other watches of theirs that I've reviewed, and I'm not completely convinced by the way it looks. But it is a new Merkur, and again, Merkur, a little bit like Libini, offer incredible value for money watches. They're not necessarily the best made watches that you can buy on AliExpress, but yeah, a lot of people like their watches, and yeah, this is a new release. A vintage inspired watch, 38mm in diameter according to the listing, 50 meters of water resistance. It doesn't say anything about sapphire crystal, sadly, so I suspect it's mineral. Boltony have just launched this watch, and I've just declined the opportunity to review it, sadly. I just think the shape of the hour hand is questionable. Yeah, it just puts me off the watch. It's a real shame. I love their watches. They are incredibly well built. They just produce watches to an unbelievable standard. They always use really, really good movements. This one has the Miyota 9122 in it. It's just that hour hand. It's a weird shape, isn't it? Looks a bit like a bottom or a, scrotum. And I can't see past it, sadly. And I know if I review it, the comments and the review will just be me not being able to get over the hour hand, sadly. So, yeah. It's a Boltony, it's probably good, but it's just not for me. Proxima have launched a couple of new-ish sort of watches with different dials. They're actually familiar case shapes, familiar watches from from Proxima, sorry, but they've just got interesting dials. They're sort of, I don't know, look like frosted ice, sort of scratchy. I don't really know how to describe it. Yeah, it is supposed to look like sort of ice, isn't it? Frosted ice, and they've even put a picture of what it's supposed to look like on the listings. They've done a pretty good job, actually, of the effect. I'm just not so sure it's an effect I like on a watch dial, but if it's a Proxima, well, Simon from Watch the Time will love them. Sorry, Simon, I had to get that one in there. He loves Proxima almost as much as I love St. Martin watches, and for good reason. They are incredibly well built, and he, in fact, in a recent video, he was calling for them to produce more watches with different case shapes, and I think this has sort of proven that point. They're reusing these cases again, just with different dials, and yeah, I like them, but I'm not overly enthusiastic about getting them into review, sadly. Now, someone reached out to me recently and said there's not enough SKX homage watches on AliExpress. I actually think there's quite a few. I might even produce a video listing all of the viable options, all of the options that I think are worth considering. And coincidentally enough, I've just been on this store, and Steel Dive have this version available for $398 US. I don't believe that is the cheapest you'll be able to buy this watch. That's a ridiculous price for this watch housing an NH35. For some reason, Steel Dive and Addy's Dive occasionally just seem to have ridiculous, ludicrous prices on some stores. I really don't understand why, but still, it is seemingly a new release, according to this store anyway, and looks quite good, but $398? I don't think so. And here's another Steel Dive, $998 US with an NH35. I think they've lost the plot, haven't they? I mean, it looks pretty cool. It's got sort of Zelos vibes to it. But yeah, there's no way, I don't think anybody's going to be paying $1,000 for this with an NH35. But anyway, I'm including it in this video because it's quite an interesting new release. Seagull have launched a lot of new releases. A little bit like Steel Dive just now. Some of the prices are just ludicrous, and I can't see anybody watching my videos interested in paying close to £1,000 for a Seagull watch. But I have found this watch just over $100 US. Automatic, very interesting looking dial, fairly familiar sort of standard looking case shape, and Seagull watches, they're always beautifully finished, come with very, very few quality control issues. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a Seagull with a quality control issue, so I think they're well worth considering, and for me their best watches are the more affordable ones. Now, I'm not completely convinced by the way this one looks, but it's not a bad looking watch. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Guys, let me know what you think. Now I'm going to wrap things up with a couple of St. Martins that have been launched recently, and I've left these until the end because, well, I've got both of these into review already. This is the SN0130, an incredible watch. It started life as a GMT with the NH34 in it. Now they have transitioned to offering this watch with an NH35, 3 hands, a few interesting dial options, look, and I have been sent this watch with an aventurine dial, so you'll see that review very, very soon. And they've also launched a few new SN0116s, very colourful, sort of summery, inspired, fruit inspired, 3-handed watches, look. Again, NH35, just over $230 odd for this watch. And I've been sent this bright orange one to review, and I can tell you this thing is bright. Right guys, that's your lot for today. Please let me know in the comments section which watches you like. I'll try and get them in for review, unless of course I've already got them in, or unless of course I've said I'm not getting them in for review for various reasons. And yeah, I look forward to reading your comments. Thanks guys.